What if she said, well, if maybe all you Asians weren't being super basic ass AZNs at Marquee Day Club in Vegas, that maybe you guys would actually have thought of this Congee instead of attacking me.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Hot Pot Boys podcast, where we're giving hot takes on hot issues. Andrew here, David here. We got young kid Leroy in the building, Liam.
Go shoot my album.
But yo, the first hot topic issue that we got to talk about today is white people or white-owned corporations appropriating Asian food. And this has been something that's been happening, but most recently some stuff came out in the news about Karen Taylor from Oregon calling herself the Congee Queen, improving congee, the traditional Asian food. And then also Dunkin' Donuts and Sonic, the fast food chains, they're releasing popping boba, but they're not really calling them boba or giving credit to the Asian community. So there was a big uproar from the Asian community, of course, especially at Karen Taylor. They're very mad. They want to cancel her business or whatever it is. Now, the question is, where does all this fall between appreciation, appropriation, and how sensitive should Asians be about this?
Well, I think there's a lot to unpack here because there's the actual thing that happened, and then there was the reaction to it, then there was the reaction to the reaction, and then I guess just what are the larger macro takeaways. So, I mean, let's waste no time. Let's just talk about it. What do you think about Karen Taylor, Liam?
As a woman named Karen, I don't know if you can call yourself the queen of like an Asian cuisine, man. It's kind of crazy. You know, growing up in like, it's probably part of like where she is. You know, she's in a rural part of Oregon. I mean, growing up in New York City, I was in, a Chinese school. I learned Chinese every day. I was in like the majority of my classes were full of Chinese kids, and I have appreciation for the culture. And I'm not gonna go out here and be like, oh, I'm the king of speaking Chinese. Right. Like, look at me. Like, my name's Liam. Like, I'm not. You just can't take something that's clearly not your own and call yourself the master of it, and it's offensive.
Right. Yeah. Well, you have a lot of reps being around Chinese people, so you know how to kind of talk about their culture and give them credit and all that.
It's like a mutual respect. You gotta respect people that you have an appreciation for, and you have to be outspoken about that kind of stuff.
I agree. I think that everybody I talked to, regardless of whether they thought Asians were being too sensitive or, right on mark with their, fervent rejection of Karen Taylor, thought that she should not have said that. I think once you got more into the details of like, should white people be allowed to even sell congee? No Asians have gotten rich off congee yet. You know what I mean? Et cetera, et cetera. I think there's more like gray zone where people are debating. But in terms of whether Karen Taylor should have said that or not, for sure she should not have. And would you guys agree with me? I do not think she would have said that about any other culture.
No, I don't think she would have said that about Japanese food. I do not think she would have done that about halal food. Absolutely not. I don't think she would have done it about like African food, obviously.
And I think that speaks to the low status or the low power ranking that she gives Chinese things where she's from.
Right.
Because, one thing I want people to understand is America is a very big country. And as much as there's crazy rich Asians rolling around in like Lamborghini trucks around like New York City and like
Bling
LA
Empire.
And like Seattle maybe or whatever big city you're in, where she's from, it's probably still like, oh yeah, Mr. Jones, have your table right here. Yo, yeah, get the napkin ready for you how you like it. Like, I'm not dissing that, by the way. I'm just saying that's literally exactly the interaction they have in Eugene, Oregon at the China spot.
And I do want to add this one thing is I'm looking into her background, and she is a white lady, but she did like earn some diplomatic degree of Chinese medicine in Oregon. Now, who gave her this degree? I don't know. Maybe she just bought it from some Chinese person who was teaching the class for like $5,000, whatever it is. I don't know how she got it, but obviously she felt like she was close enough where she could do it. Now, Violation was obviously calling her the queen, saying she was improving the congee, saying it was healthier. It's the new thing. That was all Violation, and she's apologizing for it right now. But regardless, I think that this is just a lesson to people that, no, non-Asians can cook Asian food. That is absolutely okay if you show appreciation to it. But David, this might have surpassed appropriation and stepped into some other tier.
Yeah, I think the other tier that we're referring to is called hostile acquisition. So
what is that?
Appreciation, appropriation, which is probably more like this right here, which is Duncan taking the popping pearls and renaming it. And then there's a hostile acquisition, which is more like dissing the original thing you base it off of, being like, yeah, that old one's whack, new sheriff in town, only buy mine, $15 congee, blueberries in it. She's mixing it with like steel cut oat recipes from like Martha Stewart, saying it's better. You know, it's wild.
She could have just called it oat G or something like.
By the way,
like mixture between oatmeal and
right.
congee.
She should have not called it congee, and she probably would have been okay. She should have showed a little bit more appreciation on her website, not called herself the queen of congee, said it was a hybrid between steel oat recipes and congee, and she probably would have been okay.
Yeah, she's putting her twist on congee. That's okay. You can put a twist on it, but you can't be the queen of it, Karen. Are you serious?
Yeah, come on,
anyway,
man.
I have a question, though. Is this, all this stuff, even including the pop and pearls thing, which we're going to dive into a little bit, but it's like, I think, is it partially because Asians, we don't have like a congee king that was Asian already? So then when someone steps up and says they're congee queen, like no one's became a multimillionaire off of congee in America that we know of. There's Congee Village, there's congee shops, right? But no one's had that congee brand where she's selling $15 congee packets for what? You know what kind of congee you can get for $15 in America in Chinatown? So, right? We didn't have our first.
I think there's a backdrop of who made money first. So, for example, there's been this long-standing debate on TikTok, right? There's a lot of like, let's say, for example, African-American girl in Brooklyn who's like 13 comes up with a dance, or Chicago, and then Charlie D'Amelio does it, and she makes like $6 million on a sponsored post or whatever. You know, it makes a bunch of money. And the original girl who came up with it doesn't get any credit, but it was to a Megan Thee Stallion song. So Megan Thee Stallion got paid out. Charlie D'Amelio got paid out, but the girl in Chicago didn't get paid.
Right.
But I think first of all, that's not right. They need to address that. Right. I don't know how through the technology they could copyright dances and IP and stuff like that, or give some sort of credit back to who it is. But I think the thing that makes, like, I guess white America or mainstream America okay with that system or that trifecta that I just spelled out is because Nicki Minaj got paid.
Right.
So somebody still got paid that was African American in that like chain of events.
It's like a token profit.
Even though somebody got left out too.
Right.
But theoretically, if Karen Taylor literally became a multimillionaire off Karen's congee, then she would have been the first person to become a millionaire off congee in America.
Now, is it okay if she got $1 million, but she just showed more appreciation to Asian culture?
I think it ultimately would have been, because we are in a free capitalistic society. And let's say, for example, white people are like, oh my gosh, these like steel cut oat recipes with blueberries and cranberries and walnuts in congee are way better than anything I had in Chinatown, or I would never even try that stuff. And they buy like 700 units. Nobody can prevent that from happening, because that's capitalism.
Nah. I don't agree. I think, are Asians really mad at just the wording? Or are they kind of mad that Asians aren't doing it themselves first? The Asians kind of mad at themselves a little bit, being like, damn, did we really commoditize our culture on this level where then a white woman who studies acupuncture and Chinese herbal medicine can try to do this and claim this? I'm kind of mad at myself, because are you saying that on her website, all she had to do was be like, this is my twist on congee. Congee comes from Asia. It's a great tradition, and I love it, and this is my take on it. Like, I still think Asians would be mad, but of course the title is what got it viral. But I think Asians need to look at themselves and be like, hey, guys, are we, we all, we have immigrant parents. We all want to become doctors and professionals, a lot of us, right? And it's not that every single person is putting their time and energy into the cultural movement and cooking food, which is food. Let's be honest. That's the one thing that Asians do all believe is better than the West.
I think we need to be more confident as Asian Americans or any immigrant community, not in just clapping back at people because we're confident in the food space. Oh, our food is something I'm proud of, I'm defensive of, even though, like, you don't see Asians as defensive of Asians in sports, right? Because a lot of Asians actually don't really play sports, or they're not like taking ownership of that cultural space.
Every Asian eats Asian food.
But they take, even the most like whitewashed Asian like still likes Asian food. You know what I mean? Like they just go to
my grandmother's noodles. I remember those.
Yeah. But I wish we were more confident in creating things. So maybe if we would have had a congee king or a congee prince or a congee princess, we wouldn't care as much that Karen Taylor called herself the queen.
Yeah, the market's there. It's all about the way you do it, how you attract this market. And if the market is rural white America, you need to also educate them. Yeah. You need to get them to know what they're eating. I
think we sell ourselves a little bit low sometimes, you know? Like our concept is like, oh yeah, let's just like make it more like to the lowest common denominator. Whereas clearly Karen Taylor saw something in congee that we might not even have seen ourselves, or maybe we did think of it, but we didn't execute.
Yo, straight up, what if Karen had said on her mission statement on her website, being like, well, this is something that I haven't seen that many Asian Americans do, so, I'm just going to step up. There seemed to be a void because you guys weren't doing it.
Well, you guys
First of all, that would have caused a lot of beef, but that would have been...
What if she said, well, if maybe all you Asians weren't being super basic ass AZNs at Marquee Day Club in Vegas... that maybe you guys would actually have thought of this, Congee, instead of attacking me, you guys would actually be doing something cultural with your
let's
life.
be honest. In America, does it feel like that our culture is actually becoming part of America, that American people that are not part of our community want to sell our product? Now, they're not doing it always right, but some people are. Does that make us feel like part of America? Is that actually the larger mission as Asian Americans? Like, oh, finally, they're taking popping pearls and they're not saying it's Asian. I always wanted to just be like any other American. Or is there some sense being like, hold on, I want my food to stay Asian, but I'm American? I'm not saying they're all mutually exclusive, but
I see what you're saying. I guess
it's a complicated feeling.
It's a tough question to answer, but I just wish the Asian American community was less reactive and more proactive. Cool. So then we wouldn't have to have like a perceived overreaction to these things. Because let's be honest here. By all means, her doing Congee is novel, but people are attracted, and sometimes that's the only space they feel comfortable engaging is in novelty.
Now, I want to switch it up because Karen doing it out of Oregon and for her base, which is probably not like the metropolitan like SF. That was probably not her market for that. I don't think Dunkin' Donuts releasing the popping pearls and Sonic releasing the popping boba or popping bubbles.
Calling bursting balls.
Bursting bubbles. Yeah. Them releasing the bursting bubbles, they're not really saying it's Asian. It might have come from an Asian company, so maybe an Asian company got paid out when they sold the tubs of popping bobas to them. But it's probably not for the major boba markets, as in
of course, here's the truth,
LA.
guys. City people or like Asians don't go to Dunkin' Donuts.
For the most part, that's not their biggest. No, that's not. I don't think that makes up a significant amount of their sales.
Asians would probably, I don't know, rather go to Starbucks. Like, I don't know, probably, right?
Or even their local boba shop.
Yeah, the local boba shop to get it. Like, so I think Dunkin' was probably making a calculation like, we can sell this to middle America. We can sell this to this and that consumer. Maybe a lot of Latinos would try these bursting bubbles. But we don't want to call them popping pearls. Like, maybe that's even the name that the manufacturer, they purchase these in bulk from. I don't know if they're making them in-house or just buying them in tubs from like a manufacturer in Taiwan. Like, so they're probably like, well, I can't really name it Asian. If I call it boba, that even could be more problematic. Let's just try to slip it in there and release it to the market and just say we came up with it.
So they're definitely wiping any sort of Asian word, pearls, boba, Asian, Taiwan, Chinese, whatever. They're totally taking that out of the marketing though. So what could they have done instead, Liam? Like, could they have like said that they were partnering with someone? What do you mean? What do you think?
Like, I think the best alternative would be a collaboration with an Asian company that would supply them and market it like that. Exploit that. Tell the public about your collaboration with an Asian company because it's profiting both an Asian company and your company, and it's also giving credit where credit is due. Like, you can obviously have this product and it'll obviously resemble boba, but if you're not saying it and you're not acknowledging it, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Did you guys know the PF and PF Chang's stands for Paul Fleming? The other partner of PF Chang's. Chang's is the Chinese person. Paul Fleming. So there's a partnership, right?
Let me try this right now. Let me try this.
Let's try the boba. All right.
Okay. It's not for me. I could see if I was somebody else that I would maybe like that more. I don't personally like it. It's funny because we're talking about Dunkin' ripping off a lot of things. This is already a rip off of a Starbucks pink drink.
Yeah, like a pink drink, yeah.
Which came from dragon fruit.
I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it's not even just the pearls. Like, I just don't enjoy that drink.
Yeah,
I'm not.
I can see a construction worker liking it. I don't know. I'm just
listen. Dunkin' knows its market, so I definitely think Dunkin' should acknowledge, at least on their website. This is the thing that a lot of companies do. They put more information and more credit on their website, which nobody looks at. But officially, it's there. So you can't say they didn't tell people. They just don't have it on the advertisements, right? So that's something they could do. But
I just think that I wish that Asian Americans didn't need these like novel things like Dunkin' Donuts or Karen Taylor to get them riled up and get them like, I guess, activated to be like, have any sort of Asian consciousness. But like I said, I understand it's human nature. People need novel things, novelty things. They're attracted to it. And maybe the actual macro systemic issues seem a lot less sexy and glamorous than the symptoms.
Yeah, it's true, man.
Because I'm like, listen, guys, in a position like as minorities from the East living in the Western society, us getting picked on, exploited, appropriated at whatever level, low, middle, high, it's a constant everyday thing. You see it when people don't move for us on the sidewalks. You see it when people like take the things in the drink. You see people when people crown themselves the queen of Congee with like no even imagining there would be any sort of recourse for it. And it's just like, I don't know. I'm like, I guess if it's the Dunkin' Donuts that gets you, activated. And
I'll tell you this. I know Asians, if they don't ride or die for anything, they're going to ride and die for their food. Asians really believe that the food is the one thing that is legitimately superior to the West. But here's my one thing. And, we travel to Asia a lot. So I'm like, in Asia, there's a ton of Western culture. Cafe culture. I'm not saying that's from America. That's from like
and they try to play it up too. There'll be like Cafe Italia, Shanghai.
Yeah, and I'm just like, guys, in a global stage, and I know that because Asians in America, we're still a small minority group. We're growing and we're experiencing other things like Asian hate and all this stuff. So it's kind of like all coming together in a more peaceful time. I think it doesn't feel as bad. But right now, while we're getting Asian hate, and then this is kind of like Asian ignoring in a different way, like Asian appropriation plus the Asian hate is like, it's all coming together and we're really feeling like the heat of it. But I do want to say globally, there's a lot of cultures that are being spread globally, being borrowed, being appropriated on different levels. So I'm just saying, like, it's not going to be the last time we hear about this. But I think it's a cool, fair conversation to have.
What do you think, Liam?
The idea is there. You just need to execute it, right? You got to give credit where credit's due. You need to pay Asian companies. You need to collaborate with Asian companies. You need to be able to be a person that respects Asian culture to sell an Asian product. So definitely get out there and do it right.
Yeah. And like I said, man, just have a little blurb on your website, man. Sometimes people, all they want is the little credit at the bottom. Why are credits at movies like executive producer or assistant producer? Those things are so important. People pay a lot for that.
One thing I noticed is the older generation on Instagram hit me and was like, hey, what's so bad about this girl like trying to make her own kanji? Yeah, even though it was a little silly and ignorant, like I used to get called like a chink every day and rocks get thrown in my head. So I did get that one. I was like, oh yeah, well yeah, I guess every era has different expectations and different like context.
What about if the appropriation comes with some appreciation low key? I don't know.
I just would like to see, my ultimate takeaway is I want to see Asians on the offensive more.
Yeah.
That's fine to react. It's fine to be on defense. But sometimes you got to play offense.
All right. Let's create our own thing, man. Let's keep it going. But yes, speak up while you can. But also just know, culture is very fluid nowadays. You got the internet.
I mean, dude, Karen Taylor was attacking it. She saw a void in the market and she was attacking
That was a violation. That was a violation.
No, it was a violation, but I'm saying she was attacking.
Oh, you mean she was putting the energy in. She was doing the work.
Yeah, she was creating these weird products.
I mean, she knows more about, I'm not saying she can speak Mandarin. I'm just saying she knows more about acupuncture than I do. I don't know anything about that.
Oh.
I don't know anything. She probably knows more about ginseng and other Chinese herbal medicines. She probably can walk into one of those stores and identify a bunch of the roots. I don't know. It was a violation. Anyways, guys, let us know.
At least appreciate like Steven Seagal. Like,
at least say you're partnering with an old like Sifu, like that's all you had to say. Sifu Chang gave me the degree that I needed.
Pull the PF Changs.
Oh, that's all you got to do. Like Liam said, it's easy. Just say you're partnering with this person and give it some glory to an Asian person.
Let one Asian make some money off of it.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, let us know in the comments below. I know that there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot of thoughts about this. This is a hot topic. You can feel very strongly about it. That's cool. Everybody's entitled to their opinion at the end of the day.
Let us know in the comments section below what you thought of the actual action, the reaction of the reaction, and the larger takeaways. Huge shout out to Liam for joining us today. Man, Hot Pot Boys Podcast. Until next time, we out.
Peace.